Welcome to the Backyard Professor Responds video. Last night I made a video on the news that has traveled around the world of Lou Elizondo using a fake photograph, and I misidentified it as an AI-generated photograph, and I'm sorry if I caused any confusion. I did not have a proper understanding of the nature of the photograph, so I am happy to correct that. I'm not trying to confuse people or mislead people. I want to know the facts just as much as anybody else. And I did have someone say that I'm sus if I don't accept the fact that Lou Elizondo has responded as well. And I entirely agree with that sentiment. Lou has responded, and I will share a clip from the Black Vault, who posted a video today showing Elizondo's response, and discuss some implications that have been found that we need to come to figure out how to not make so many mistakes. I am including myself in this as well. I'm the relative newcomer at this field. So many personalities to understand, so many different aspects of this UAP issue. I'm bound to get some things wrong. It's certainly never intentional. So I hope that helps clarify that. That being said, the photograph was not what Elizondo represented it to be. And this caught so fast on X and Reddit, etc., that, and of course here online, even mainstream media got a hold of this story and made story. But Elizondo has responded, and I want to, in fairness, share this response, and I will use Black Vault's research. See, he has full time to do this. I don't. This is more of a hobby of mine, a very interesting hobby. And so I will be happy to, not that I'm trying to use the bad issue of just quoting authorities, because that is a fallacy, but the information in the Black Vault here is entirely valid. I have seen this shared a few different times, and I know Greenwald is a really good source. So I like him. And let me get me off the screen here. Okay, here we go. Let's hear what he has to say.
Just said again, and I will keep beating the dead horse. It's not an attack. Now, Luis Elizondo addressed this. This is the first message that he sent. Right before broadcasting this, I went to his X account again. Anybody can go to it. If you use X, go to Lou Elizondo. That's his handle. There's way too many to read at this point, but I felt the most important was his original statement on it. And that's the one I'm going to read for you right now. He stated, "As you all know, I am always happy to be my own worst critic. A photo that was provided to me by a friend in government a couple years ago was presented by me 2 days ago at our engagement in Philadelphia. Looks like we can put this one to bed, as our friends in Twitter figured/solved this one. Major bravo to you. Excellent work to whoever solved this one, and a big thank you. Crowdsourcing works. Now let's see it together. We can figure out the rest. Now let's see if together we can figure out the rest. As folks at the show will attest, this is precisely why I showed the first few slides at the beginning with an example of a fake UFO. We must continue to be vigilant and always go where the data leads. As you know, I will always own up to any mistakes I make. A good lesson here. Just because someone in government gives me something, due diligence and scrutiny is always a good idea. Onwards and upwards."
Okay, now I'm going to continue sharing John's analysis because he's had more time to look into a whole bunch more sources. His audience is larger, etc. And he brings up some remarkably interesting points. What is so interesting here is the manner in which Elizondo is including all of us together, working together, figuring things out. And if there is something amiss, such as my misunderstanding of it being an AI generated video or a photo, which a few people in the comments posted, and I thank them for that, I can straighten this out from my end, at least, and then we can move forward. I will own up to it. I don't belong on Facebook. I don't have access to near the audience that so many of you do. I don't post on X, etc. My time is limited. So this idea, some of the implications of his response is what John is going to discuss, and they are so good that I do want to share these. If I may, please, let's hear what else he has to say. Always a sharp, good mind, this guy.
I won't beat around the bush.
And then
Trump and his allies have been pointing.
I apologize. I am getting YouTube Premium. I swear to goodness.
Money into battleground states, and the polling shows us now.
All right. Yeah. So
kudos to him for addressing it. He later posted the link to the Daily Mail article, which again profiled not only myself, but Jeremy McGowan, who has quite a different story when it comes to Luis Elizondo, including personal interaction, and it didn't end well. So that is something that was profiled for the Daily Mail. Luis Elizondo tweeted that out as well. On the surface, all of that looks good, and hey, kudos to him. That's awesome. But digging into then what he is saying here, these highlights are obviously my own, but I wanted to kind of punch that he's saying a friend in government is the one who fed this to him 2 years ago. So in 2 years, no one was able to figure out, hey, this is probably a reflection and something that people often fall for when it comes to UFOs. But instead, in those 2 years, that never happened. So my question is, who is this friend in government? And that's one question, because this was posted publicly. I posted this question publicly in return. I feel it's very, very important, and I wasn't alone feeling that. And I said, what do you feel your friend in government's agenda was giving you this photo? With all of your legitimate concerns about how the government conceals UAP information, do you think you could be used to further that obfuscation by being fed false info from friends? What he is considering friends.
Okay, so great point. Sincerely, he had it apparently, if I'm understanding John correctly here, Elizondo has had that photo in his possession for 2 years. And he just did this on October 29th or 28th, just a couple of days ago, this discussion in Philadelphia. So that's a good point. In all that time, no one else has looked at it. No one else has seen that it's a fake photograph, that it's not a mothership, and the pilots in the air didn't describe this correctly, etc. There's something really weird about that. And is Elizondo a pawn in someone else's scheme in order to discredit him? Will this affect his status in testifying on November 13th, etc.? Because that's a big deal. That's a big issue. My understanding is that's going to be discussing the retrofitting of alien aircraft and our attempts, dark and secret as they are. Even Congress is not aware of this. The president is not aware of this, which is highly illegal. There has to be oversight. But whoever is doing this is trying to make an alien aircraft so that we can have it in our war machine arsenal as a war machine. I wish they would try to focus on time travel or space travel instead of worrying about war so much, but that's just my take on that. But yeah, so this is interesting. What's going on? If Lou is a pawn in further spreading misinformation, that has to be ironed out by Lou and all the rest of us who want to help through this. And let's get to the bottom of this. I honestly don't have the impression, I don't think it's going to, this incident is going to prevent the November 13th idea from happening. I think it will happen, hopefully, but the question is now, what is going to be told in these hearings Is that going to be now severely limited? Are we going to be able to use this as or is someone else going to deflect the agenda of the hearings in order to dwell on triviality, etc.? We certainly hope not. We really hope not. This is why Danny Sheehan began the Citizens for Disclosure. We need to all participate in telling the government that we do need these hearings and get a congressional oversight, get it so that Congress is in control, not some private, big, powerful corporation who spurns the government of we the people, because it is of the people, by the people, for the people that the United States Constitution is set up. So anyway, so good points on John's part. Let's keep going. He's got another couple ideas here.
And I'm going to punch this note. Who are these friends in government, not former government? That's not how he said it. I'll go back to the slide. Friend in government a couple of years ago. Who's feeding him that information? And that to me is starting to become more interesting and fascinating than UFOs themselves at this point, because who is able to feed this information to him to then use a former counterintelligence DOD agent to go out and start blasting this out there? Because in my personal opinion, just being involved with this a lot, that was way too easy to debunk. And I was, of course, attacked by some people for putting that out there. And it's like, oh, you're always trying to attack Luis Elizondo. Well, look, he completely says that he agrees with the debunk, whether he read mine or, whomever else's post that he stumbled on. It doesn't matter. But the debunk remains the same. And even he agrees that that is debunkable at this point. So my question is the root of what's going on here, because this is, again, not that personal attack, but rather that's why I say it's an important conversation.
And I have a hard time disagreeing with that. I think this is important enough that we really need to get to the base and try to make sure that with these high-level officials, and it's irrelevant what department they belong to, military, they can belong to the government, they can belong even to us, we need to make sure that the information is valid, and if it's not, then let's find out where it's not, correct that, and move forward with this. And Elizondo is on record, as we just read. He agrees with the debunk, and he said, "Good job. Now let's keep going." But you can't skip the background here. I think that's what Greenwald is going on here, and in this instance, without question, I agree with him. We have to, Elizondo is in such a position, and he has the types of contacts in positions to where they can really, really cause problems that can set us back decades of understanding if we're not too careful. So we the people, and again, this is one of those instances where the YouTubers, the people on Reddit, the people on Twitter and X, the people on Facebook, we can get involved and help figure out what's accurate, what's not, get rid of the inaccurate, correct it, throw it out, bring in the accurate, and move forward. As I've said, this is really an issue with we the people. And so I personally really appreciate the Black Vault on this particular issue and how he is going to the important background information, not as a personal attack against Elizondo. I mean, we're all allowed to make mistakes. For Pete's sake, none of us are perfect. We are all human. And but what we want to make sure of, double and triple check, is that this is not a disinformation, misleading program that we are experiencing while we're here. We really do want to understand the truth of it. And so if things happen like this and there is disinformation, we all need to jump in, use our critical thinking skills, and get rid of the disinformation so that the good stuff can come through. I am 100% behind the Black Vault on this. And I have to say thank you to him publicly for being such a stellar detective. And he has so much more on this video. Watch this video of his. The name of it is the UFO Updates and Controversies This Week, Elizondo's Photo, USAF Claims, and NRO Files. This is all I wanted to present, is basically Elizondo has responded, but this also brings up other issues that need to be worked out as well. I honestly don't think this is going to hurt the hearings on the 13th. I'm going to begin turning my attention to various different, I want to do some comments and commentaries on some of the exquisite interviews that have been happening this last 6 months, bringing us up to November 13th. There are some spectacular documentaries. There's some spectacular interviews from Colt Hart, on various different personalities. There's some really good interviews by several YouTube content creators that I want to give my commentary on and try to analyze and assess, compare and cross-check things, because again, it is through the small systematic additions of information of various type of logic, analysis, scientific analysis, religious analysis, psychological analysis, that all of this thing gets put together until we get to the point to where it has grown and it will just pow, it'll be there. I get it. It's a patience thing, and very few of us have that at this point. I'm with you. But that's how this is working. This, to me, this has all the looks of a slow rollout. But that does mean that there is hope at the end, that it will come out. Maybe not with the full damn burst, but we will have the truth, because the truth is out there. Is how they say it. So thanks for watching my Backyard Professor videos. I'm going to keep bringing more information out. I'm going to begin focusing on November 13th now. I'm going to try like crazy to watch it live if I can. I'm going to record it live, and then I'll give my commentary on it come the 13th. I'm going to see if I can take the day off of work so that I can spend time listening to it and analyzing it. That'll be really kind of fun and exciting. So let me know what else you guys want to hear, like to hear, etc. And I'll see if I can dig some materials up for you. In the meantime, I do have some wonderful, absolutely outstanding interviews that I do want to add my 2 cents worth, which is quite fun to do. So I will catch up to you just as soon as I can. In the meantime, remember, be good, do well, have fun, make lots of friends, be happy. Be happy. We're living in exciting times, for real. And I will catch up to you soon.